How much do you get recognized by fans outside Comic-Con since the show has grown so much?
So outside of the panel at Comic-Con, or just like walking around?
Walking around like in LA?
You know, I find that the fans for Falling Skies are there's more pointing than actually coming up. A lot of times you can see that people are, there's Hal Mason, but they don't come up too often, except for in airports. Airports, I don't know if it's because people have more time to sit there and watch you at the gate or be on the plane with you and then figure out what they're going to say, but airports, people come up quite often.
How do you stay connected to fans using social media?
I use Twitter. That's also linked to a Facebook account, so I like to sort of keep people up to date. I find mostly, I guess I just talk about the show and what's coming up on the show. Although, I don't know, Instagram as well. I do like using Instagram and taking cool pictures of things when we go out on hikes or traveling around or whatever.
On set? You use it on set? Are you allowed to?
Sometimes, but it's tricky using on set. The things that I can tweet or take pictures of are usually the boring things.
Yeah.
And the things that I want to show, they wouldn't want to have happen.
Right.
But every now and then I get a pretty awesome picture of me behind a giant gun or something along those lines.
You know, Falling Skies also released a lot of video games in the mobile space. Have you checked any of those games out?
Yeah, I have played a few of them. I don't remember what the names of them were, but one of them was...
Last Defense, I think, is one of them, and
Okay.
Second Mass Defense.
Okay, Second Mass Defense. I think that was the one where you could hold up the screen and like cruise around, and skitters would come up in whatever environment you were in. So that was kind of funny. And then the other one was, I think skitters were infiltrating along with a couple of mechs, and you had to shoot them so they would get to a cool spot. It was fun. You know, I downloaded them because it's cool that that's the show that you're on. But I haven't had any binge weekends on them.
If you could make a Falling Skulls game, what would you do with it?
Well, I would call it The Legend of Hal. And he would just be on a mission, taking down the world, saving women, upgrading his guns.
Being a badass.
Being a badass, exactly.
Speaking of video games, what kind of games did you play growing up?
Oh man, I actually learned how to play the original Nintendo from my grandma. She was a gamer, and her favorite game was this game called Big Nose, which I haven't run into many people that have known it. So ever since then, I was hooked through all the different systems. I remember my best friend back home when I was younger, named Scott. We used to play Zelda all the time. I'm a huge Zelda fan. Yeah, man, I've kind of tailed off a little bit recently. I found it was eating up a little too much of my time, taking a little too much fun. But the rest of my life, except for the last maybe 4 years, I've always been a gamer.
And that was crazy to see how far games have come since like Nintendo and Zelda.
Oh yeah, no, it's I feel like if you just jumped in now, I don't even know if you know how to work the controllers, and there's so many buttons. Like the evolution of the controller is something to study in and of itself, but it's great how realistic they are now, and the level of gameplay, and how into it you can get. I think it's fun.
And if you have time, what are you playing right now?
Let's see.
When you have time.
The last thing that I was binging on was Modern Warfare 2, so it's got a couple of years on it. But then my buddy left town, and he was my gaming buddy, so I haven't really haven't played much since then. But actually, Connor Jessup, who plays Ben Mason on the show, when we're shooting, I go over to his place and we play different games. He sort of gets me back into it, brings my youth back out.
And what are your thoughts and opportunities that video games open for actors like yourself with mocap and voiceover nowadays?
I think it's really cool. Oddly enough, I have a buddy. I used to work at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I was a valet. And we had a whole bunch of us. And over the years, different ones of us have gone off to do relatively decent things. And this one guy, Sean Dury, just texted me this morning at E3, the conference. They just released the trailer for some video game that he's in, that he's doing the motion capture for. That looked super cool. I think it was called Quantum something. But yeah, it looks like it'd be awesome to do.